They say it's a blessing to be in the house of the Lord. It's good to see each one of you tonight. We trust you to pray for us for a little while as we look in the Word of God. Now, we kind of still preaching on the line we was this morning. Now, people think that they get to the point that they are maybe holier than somebody else is, or they can never fall or fail. But you never get too big that you can't fail. And so I want us to look tonight for a little while on a man named Samson. If you study about him, his mama was unable to have children, and an angel spoke to her and told her she's going to conceive and have a son. It was kind of a miracle baby that this man was, and the Bible tells us that they wanted to talk with the angel a little more, and I believe his father prayed that the angel would, God would let the angel come back and talk to him, and he did. Come back and talk to him again, told him how to raise the boy. And they raised him right, but he went wrong after he got grown. You know, I've seen folks carry their kids to church, and they do pretty good as long as they're at home, and the family was carrying them to church, but when they get grown, they quit. I remember a man that lived close to me said they drug him to church when he was little, and when he got bigger, he wasn't going to go. And but anyhow, then I saw him later at trade day, and he told me, he said, I'm going to church again. He'd got straightened out with the Lord, and he was going back to church, and I said, I'm just tickled to death. Wasn't going to my church, and wasn't going to our denomination, but I was just proud he's going to church. And I said, I'm just proud of it tonight. But I want you to think about Samson for a little while. According to the Bible, the best I can find out about him, he looked like a normal person. But the Bible gives us a record that he's probably at his size. I'm not talking about the giants. Now we know a giant would be naturally bigger and stouter. But a man that Samson's size, he didn't look like he was a muscle man. And I believe he looked like an ordinary person. But when the strength come upon him is when God, Spirit moved upon him. God would move him. The Bible said he is moved by the Spirit. And that's when he got his strength from the Lord. It wasn't the size the man was. It wasn't what he ate or the clothes he wore. But it's because God moved upon him and gave him that strength. And the Bible, of course, he got a little bit carried away and thought, my friend, that he just he got to trusting in himself and got to trusting in the flesh. And I said this morning about David and Solomon, their weakness, my friend, was women. The opposite sex. And they was weak. And we find in the Bible that was Samson's problem. The Bible said he'd see some woman, and he said, he'd tell Mama, back in them was a custom, he'd tell Mama and Daddy, I want that woman for my wife. And my friend, and he had always found somebody, and my friend, on the enemy side. He never found somebody out of Israel. It was always on the enemy side. He found somebody that belonged to the Philistines. And my friend, which was a known enemy of Israel at that time. And he said, I want her. And they talked to him, can't you get a girl out of Israel? He said, I want that woman. He had his eyes set on her. And my friend, that was strike number one. And my friend, he struck out with her. And my friend, then strike number two. And my friend, he saw another woman. And the Bible said he liked her. And my friend, so he struck out with her. And they used to have a saying, and then strike number three and you're out. And my friend, I think that still goes in the ball game. And my friend, if you strike three, you're out. And so Samuel, this man, my friend, Samson, I'll get it right in a minute. And my friend, number three got him. He got by pretty good with the first two. He got in trouble one time with one of them, but he got by pretty good, but he got to number three. And the devil, and I said this morning, he'll lay you a trap, and he just kept getting a bigger trap for Samson. And my friend, and he trapped him good. And my friend, and he thought this woman was all there was. And she said, if you love me, you'll tell me where your strength is at. And she kept on at him. He played with her for a while. And my friend, you can't cultivate sin tonight. And my friend, it'll grow, and it'll get big, and it'll bite you out a while. It's like a snake tonight. You might find a little snake, a poison snake, and while it's little, it might not bite you, but let it grow out a while, it'll snap you. The people play with the lion sometimes, and they play with them like there's a little dog out in the yard, but after a while that lion finally bites them. Because it's its nature to. The snake's nature to bite you because it's the only protection that's got. My friend, it bites you because it's afraid of you tonight. My afraid that you might hurt it. My friend, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you could do it, and a lot of us couldn't do it, but if we could just stand still before that snake ever struck and wait him out patiently, he'd crawl off directly. But we're afraid he might not and he might strike. And that's why we want to get away from him, and while we're trying to get away, that's when he strikes. You think about it. Tonight, they can't patiently wait on you tonight. But Samson, my friend, was higher. And he loved Delilah. I mean, was her name. And the Bible said, if you love me, you'll tell me where the secret to your strength. And he told her several different things. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee. And the Bible said, my friend, that Samson just rise, and whatever they had him tied with just break off. He couldn't hold him. He was so stout. My friend, the name of Samson, my friend, it put fear in these enemies. My friend, but they wanted this man, and they wanted to capture him and get his power tonight. You know, tonight the devil, he wants to capture people and get their power tonight. My friend, you think about, my friend, he looked at it, he laying there, and she said, Samson, if you love me, and he finally told her one day that he's a Nazarite. My friend, the never a razor come across his head. My friend said, if these locks is shaved off, he said, I'll be like an unordinary man. And the Bible said he went to sleep, my friend, in Delilah's lap, and she called for a man with a razor, and they shaved off his hair. My friend, and the Bible tells us that she said, this time he's told me all his heart, and you can come and get him now. And I believe they's paying her money, my friend, to get Samson. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee. And Samson said, I will arise. And just like at other times, I'll shake myself. And my friend, when he shook himself, at that time, it wasn't like it used to be. The Bible said the Lord had departed from him. I wonder tonight, and he didn't even know it. The Lord had departed from him, and he didn't know it. That was that strength that he had. That was that moving of God upon his life that made him so stout. He could take a jawbone of a knife, my friend, and kill 1,000 men with it. That's how stout he was. But he was give out and thirsty when he cut through. And my friend, and he began to pray. And God, my friend, he let that water come out of that jawbone. And my friend, of that eyes, that he slain there, and he drank from it. It was a miracle of God, how God worked it to give him water. But this time, friend, he done played around with sin too long. And my friend, I want us to look tonight. And my friend, what he lost. And my friend, the night people lose every time that they try to play with sin tonight. They'll wind up on the loser's end. And the Bible said the first thing that he lost was his sight. They had punched out his eyes. After they got him where they could handle him. You know how gentle he was? A little child could lead him around after his strength had left him. A little kid lead him around like he's a little dog out in the yard. He was blind. He didn't have no strength. You think about it. He lost his sight. But this man was stout. Probably the stoutest man, as I said in the Bible. His size. But yet he fell. You think about it tonight. All them great people in the Hall of Fame, they all committed sin. If the Bible's right, and I believe it is, it said, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. You think about that. Apostle Paul told us that over in the New Testament. He said, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Not nobody has got by. And there are people that will tell you that they don't sin. They think they're perfect. And they can live in this life. And sin all around them today. I'm telling you folks that we better have our guard up tonight, because the devil may be setting a trap for you next week that you don't even think about. He'll already have the trap set for you. Before you find it, sometime he might have you caught in that trap. But he's smarter than you are tonight. He can outthink us tonight. He knows more Bible than a lot of people does. That says they're Christians. He studies the Bible to argue on it. Amen. To argue to his side. You think about it. But the Bible said he lost his sight. I want to think about 4 things I want to see that he lost. Not only did he lose his sight, but he lost his freedom. He lost his freedom because they bound him up. Stoutest man. Oh, they could tie him up with ropes, brand new ropes, and he'd just break them off. Oh, tonight, but he's lost his strength. He lost his power. Listen, very briefly, not only had he lost his strength, my friend, tonight, he's just a cello. He wasn't, somebody said he was just like an ordinary person. But you think about it. I believe a person that, my friend, has made the mistake and they've done wrong in the sight of God, I believe they're the most miserable person that you could find. I believe they're more miserable than it was before they got saved, if they're a Christian, because they know better. If we know better tonight, the Bible said, him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him is sin. And you think about it tonight. If we know to do good and do it not, it means that it's sin to us. That's when we commit sin. If we know to do good and we don't do it. And the Bible tells us this very briefly. But he lost his strength. And he's probably, what is weak as other people, he's probably weaker. You think about it. He was a person that actually, I noticed Brother Norton used him he was preaching on suicide this morning, and he used Samson as one of the people that committed suicide. You think about it. He just couldn't stand with failure in his life. He couldn't stand to be blind. He couldn't stand to be with his strength gone. And he was just ready to go. And think about it, not only lose his strength, but he lost his testimony. How many people do you know in this old world? And I could think of a few, and I'm not going to name any names tonight. I could think of a few religious people in this county that have lost their testimony. And I'm telling you, if it's possible, God give them wings and they can flop like angels, they'd never get their influence back. Then it's gone. When you may lose everything materially you got. And if you live long enough, you might get it back. You might lose your bank account. You might live long enough to get it back. But if you ever lose your influence, you'll never live long enough to get it back. People just won't forget it. God will forgive you, but man won't forget it. They won't forget it. They remember. But he lost it. I think about poor Lot over in Sodom and Gomorrah. It looked good. I mean, the grass was good. The water was good down there for his animals. And he said, I'm going to take that route, Abraham. And Abraham went back up where there wasn't no grass growing, but God, he had a blessing of God on him there. But Lot went off down there. He couldn't see the wickedness of that city. He couldn't see them Sodomites down there in Sodom and Gomorrah and the wicked city that he was into. Oh, the cry went up to God. And the Bible said Lot was down there in the middle of it. And he just got more involved in it. And he lost his testimony. I can prove it tonight that he lost his testimony because he went out to his son-in-laws. And he said, we've got to get out of this place. God's going to destroy it. And they laughed at him. And people got to a place that people have lost their testimony. And really, did you know the world tonight, if a person professes to be anything tonight, if they lose their testimony, the world will make fun of them. The Bible said these people called for Samson after he was grinding down there in the mill, and they called for him to make sport out of him. Did you know the world tonight will make sport out of people that misses the mark of God? People that loses their testimony, they lose their influence, the world will laugh at them tonight. Said, look what they used to be, look what they are now. Oh, and it's a shame tonight that people does it, but it happens. And most of these great men in the Bible, they committed sin in their life, and they had to plead to God to forgive them. But before old Samson died, He talked to God, and everything was all right before he left this walk of life. It might have cost him his life to get an adventure. He said, Lord, I want you to remember me. You remember the Bible said they led him out there to make sport out of him. And while he was out there, they made sport out of Samson. And the Bible said, my friend, that's a little child led him. And they led him back to the post. The houses they built was up, standing up on, they had them built up on pillars. And you go walk under them. And Samson, that little child, was under there. And Samson said, leave me over there, let me feel the post. He began to feel a little of that strength coming back. And he noticed about time for God to really bless him because his hair started growing. Amen. Now the strength wasn't in his hair. It in the obedience to God. And like a man said this evening, he said when they pray for the sick, they put oil on them. He said there ain't no power in that oil. I knew that to start with. That's what he said. He didn't know power of the oil. And they believed it. They put it on people. Well, I said, well, why do they put it on people? I said, make a show for people. Make a show for man today, the flesh. That's what it's all about. It's not the spirit. You think about it. They don't want to put oil and all that. And listen, somebody said, well, I remember one preacher one time, somebody wanted to be prayed for. He said, I've lost my oil. I started telling Brother Robert I could go out to the car and pull the dipstick up and there'd be some castor oil on it. I could have done that, but I didn't. I kept quiet. Didn't say nothing. I was just listening anyhow. But you think about it. People get carried away in the little faults and theories. Oh, tonight, I'm like Brother McGee. He said, it's laying hands on people. You know, a lot of people like that, laying the hands on stuff. And Brother Bob brought in a little touch of that this morning. He said, good way to get germs. You think about it tonight, and he's telling the truth about it. And he's a Presbyterian. He says it's a good way to get germs, laying your hands on somebody. And nowadays, you like something like that could happen. We never know we don't know what kind of germs is floating out here in this world. I guess a preacher gets more germs than anybody because he shakes hands with everybody come to church. You think about it. Oh, tonight, but Samson said, God, he said, oh, God. He got over there and he got one hand on one pillar. They must have been pretty close because he reached them. I just wondered if he told that little child to get out from under there. I kind of believe he did. The Bible didn't give us a record he did, but I kind of believe that Samson would have told him to move on out of the way. Probably the little child was innocent if he was on the enemy's side. And Samson, he said, oh God, he said, remember me. He said, I pray thee, remember me. One more time, God. He said, I want you to give me the strength like an adventure. I want to take it out on these Philistines for punching out my two eyes. The Bible said God give him his strength back. And he tore that house down with his two hands. And them lords is having a party up there. They all fell in and it killed them. Killed Samson with them. But the Bible said he killed more than his death than he did in all of his lifetime. He got even with him. In the old Bible, you know, it was always get even with people. You ever notice that? And when you come over into the day of grace, it wasn't that. Jesus said he wanted to be forgiven, and I believe Stephen was one of them. He said he wanted to be forgiven because they don't know what they're doing. But if it had been in the Old Testament, they'd said, boy, let's get even with them. You look at the difference under the law, it would get even with them. Eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. We'll get even with you. I've heard people make the statement, you have too. I'll get even with them. When they wrong me, I'll get them. Just give me time. I'll get them. But that's not the attitude of the grace of God. The grace of God is forgive. God said, he said, listen, he said, it's not for me and you to get even tonight. When somebody wronged me, it ain't for me and Brother Robert to get even with them. God said, revenge is mine, and I will repay. He said, let me do the getting even tonight. God will get even with folks right if we just leave it in the hands of the Lord tonight. And we'd be better off because we'd stay sweeter in our soul. If we get involved in it trying to get even with somebody that's wronged us, then we're going to get in the wrong attitude ourselves. And we're going to be in as bad a shape as they are. But if we leave it up to God, he'll get even with folks for us. He said, revenge is mine. That belongs to God. And he said, I will repay tonight. I'm telling you tonight, God. But Samson left this world. Folks, listen, I'm just saying, preach a little bit tonight. can't play with sin. I mentioned this morning, if you play with fire, you'll get burnt. If you get on the road that's got the temptation and opportunity, on the same road, somebody's going to have a bad wreck. And if you put yourself out there in a place of sin, you're going to get run over a sin truck. That's all there are to it. Sometimes, and you know, it wasn't Delilah that was making the web for Samson, but it was Samson doing it, if you'll notice. We thought it was her setting the trap for him, but he set his own trap playing that little game. He thought he was too strong, and he could never get caught. He put too much confidence in the flesh, and not enough in God. That's what his problem was tonight. It's been a blessing to be in the house of the Lord tonight, and remember all these that was sick, and pray for them that God would bless them and touch them in a special way, that they'd be back with us, maybe for long. All that will, you come to the altar and join us in an altar of prayer, and we be dismissed at this time.